We came to run up a bag today. Yes, yes. We came to run up a bag today. Yo, 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 what is going on YouTube? It is Karma Speaks back with another video. I came across this video a couple days ago. I actually watched a decent amount of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was just like, yo, we are in tough times. Title of it is, I'm a 35-year-old loser. How did I get here? By, I don't know, it doesn't say his name. What's his name? Bruiser XO, right? So let's get into it.
I don't know how to start this, what to say. I did just let my dog out though, so I should be able to do it without edits or any breaks needed. I just got news from a job interview I've been waiting for. I didn't sleep again. I couldn't sleep. I was anxious, anticipating this. I need it. But now that it has passed and I was turned down, I'm in a position I've never been in before. I'm freaking out. Over the last couple of years, a lot has happened, and the last few months specifically, even more. And I'm just trying to vent. It's important to talk to people. If I could, I don't have insurance right now. If I could, I'd be going to a therapist. I do have friends. None of them live near me. Closest one is in Pennsylvania that I talk to on a regular basis. I do get to see that friend group once a year. We all get together. We call it Nerd Weekend. It's fun. We play board games, card games, video games, all the classics. But I'm at this point now where I'm 35, closer to 36, and my future is as uncertain as it has ever been, and it's got me on edge. My mortgage was due today. I don't have money. My car was due 3 days ago. I don't have money. I'm putting this out there and really don't care about the backlash it may bring. I need to get it out there. If anyone has ever gone through anything similar, I would just like to hear some feedback. So in my younger years, I figured out that I had trichotillomania, which is a disorder where I pull out my facial hair. That's the version I have. I typically have to stay clean shaven. If I try to grow a beard, it grows in very patchy. It's not because it won't grow, it's because I pull it out. Because of that, I learned a lot about people with alopecia and other situations that cause hair loss. And since then, so I learned about all of that when I was in my later years of high school. And since then, I've grown my hair out and donated it every few years. It's been like the one thing that makes me feel like I'm contributing to society continuously. Every couple of years, something seems to happen.
Okay, the donating the hair is cool. I wonder if that's like a anxiety, I guess, response, pulling out the facial hair, or whatever. But I do want to go back to, I guess, his original intro of, him being almost 36 years old and him being in the situation that he's in right now, right? Now, I'm not a person to like really give advice because I realize that not everybody wants to hear it, especially coming from somebody who's young, right? I'm 22 years old. So it's always a hard pill for me to try to give advice to anybody because most people are older than me, right? And even if I've, let's just say, achieved a little bit more than typical 22-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever the case is, it's still a hard, pill to swallow, or a hard thing to do when getting advice from somebody that is younger than you or is smaller than you or whatever it is, right? And I understand it because I have the same sentiment when it comes to like working a job. I can't work a job because I'm like, if I can physically overpower you, or if I, think that I'm better than you, there's no reason why I should be listening to you begging for my weekly paycheck. That's my personal opinion. But going back to what he initially said, this is a prime example as to why I live my life like the worst could happen, and why I think that most people should do that. And while I do believe in manifestation, and I read the book Think and Grow Rich, which really talks about just how your thoughts can manifest themselves in your financial life and in your success in life, right? And so I do take that into account, but I do live my life as if the worst possible case scenario could happen, right? So that being, I have to move out of my mom's crib or whatever, and my car starts breaking down and this and that. That's why I got an emergency fund, and then I keep a certain amount in savings. I'll just be transparent. I keep almost $50,000 in savings, and I don't invest it just because, one, either there could be an opportunity to invest it, or two, anything could happen in my life. Anything. And I have no, power over whatever happened. That could totally be a possibility. And so having that mindset with everything, you're able to prepare for things that you don't even know are going to happen. Like I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 5 years for me, right? It could be all green or it could be all red or whatever. But what I do know is that right now, this year, 2025, as a 22-year-old, I'm putting in as much effort that I can so that I secure everything, so that whatever does happen, even if it's complete shit, part of my tongue, I'm prepared for it and I'm ready for it. That's why I hate the mindset of like, I'm trying to make money just to spend it. How about you just make money and save it? I get spending it, but you don't have to make money to then spend it. You can make money to also secure your life. Something that my dad said when I was growing up, and I guess in my later years, and I spoke to my mom about this, and he won't like that, because he said it to me, but he might not remember him saying it to me. He used to say stuff like he really didn't care about saving money or anything like that, or like, why save money? Because I could just make it back. And so I kind of hated that mindset, because it's like, this is something that is hard to obtain for most people, but it's so easy to go, right? You work a regular job, it takes you 8 hours to make $150. That's if you're making like halfway decent pay. It takes you 8 hours to make more like 9 hours to make $150. You can spend $150 in less than 5 minutes. You can go on Amazon and be on the first page and spend $150. You can spend $500 in less than 1 minute if you have your card stored on that account. Less than 1 minute, you can Amazon Prime it. You know what? Let me even take it a step further. It can take you a week to make, let's just say, $1,000. And you can say out loud to your Alexa and say, hey, Alexa, buy my previous grocery list, which could have been $1,000 for the month. And Alexa will go out and order the $1,000 worth of groceries and then have it delivered to your house in less than like a second, just by saying, order my last delivery. So you see how it's so hard to make, but it's so easy to spend. And so I used to get, kind of upset at, him saying that, because I'm like, no, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't make no sense. Like, and there were other reasons behind it also, but I would just always be like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean you could just make it back? And I understand the mindset, like, people think that they're going to work and live forever and shit like that. So it's like, I got infinite time to make it back. But for me, I live in this sort of world where it's like, this might be the only time I make money. So if I only make money for the first 5 years of my life, I'm gonna save it, invest it, and make sure that it flips 10 times over, so that if I never am able to get back to the income level that I have now, I at least have that savings to take care of me for my future, right? Because life is so uncertain, and I've seen it directly from my parents how uncertain it can be. So that's why I kind of adopted that mindset. But I'm gonna keep going with what this gentleman's saying.
Happen that really takes my life backwards. I also grew up with psoriasis. Not like it ever goes away. It only impacts me really with my ears. So like inside my ears, it's always very itchy. But psoriasis also leads to psoriatic arthritis, which I played hockey for 20 plus years, snowboarded. I hurt a lot, and that's not going away. It's just going to get worse. And then, yeah, so I played sports a lot growing up, but when that really started to hurt a lot, I quit everything, and that took away a lot of my extracurriculars. And then at 18, me and my first real girlfriend of multiple months, we'll say. It was a year, but all the other girlfriends prior were like under a month because I was a teen. Um, she left me because I played video games rather than focus on our relationship a lot of the time. And that was a wake up call. I definitely needed it. But because of the situation where she was a year younger, I was trying to maintain the relationship while going to university. I didn't really care about the school I went to. I got accepted to the university in the same town that I was at, and I just said whatever that will allow me to stay close. But yeah, she left me right before senior year ended, and I was already at the new school. I couldn't apply somewhere else, and that town I was in was not a healthy place, and I fell into a hole. I just stopped going to classes. I drank a lot. I partied a lot. And after my first semester, I passed 0 classes and I got a D in 1 class. So my first semester GPA was a .333. And I was told that if I didn't get a 4 I would be removed from the university for the second semester, and I had no way of doing that, so I immediately gave up. I think for the first month I tried to actually maintain that grade, and then the first time something happened that just blew it out of proportion of being a possibility, and I fell. I quit. I stopped going, and I did the exact same thing I did the first.
Something that I want to note is that some of this is just normal kid shit. Some of it is normal kid shit. If this is, with the girlfriend situation, a lot of dudes do that. A lot of dudes make that mistake where it's like you make your life revolve around somebody that you think is like, end game or some whatever bullshit, right? You guys, especially in high school, do this, because you're not experienced, and you don't realize that a lady will hop to the next person, without a question. Like, it doesn't, like, she'll emotionally check out and you won't even know nothing. You won't know a damn thing. Like, she'll check out and then the relationship will end or whatever, and you'll be kind of left high and dry, because especially in high school years and everything like that, you're willing to pretty much do anything for that one person. And for women, it's not particularly the same. They prioritize their happiness, at least at that point in their life, until, later on in life when they're able to, when they need somebody, when they need a partner, right? And it's not to say that everybody's like that, but that's just something that I noticed, right? I think I even probably went through that at some point in high school. But a lot of that also sounds like self-inflicted. Like, notice, like, it wasn't just circumstantial, like this happened to me. It was very much like he did this to himself, right? And we all do it to ourselves. We all make decisions that we did to ourselves. Most of our decisions are because of ourselves. Picking the school, being in a bad environment. Like, you could be in a bad environment and still do good. It's a choice not to do good, and being somebody that, I guess, was in an environment where it's like, the school district I was in was a halfway decent school district. And for the first like years of high school and middle school and everything like that, I was like damn near straight A student. I had a 3.5 or 3.6 GPA and didn't leave the school district or whatever. But just because, things happening, I was kind of left alone at home a lot, or I guess with my grandparents, but, I didn't really see either of my parents. Like, it would be so like far and few between seeing them. So I had nobody to keep an eye out on me really, or, keep me accountable or nothing like that. So my grades like in 11th and 12th grade absolutely tanked. I technically failed 11th grade, but because it was the year of COVID, they let me go. They let me go to the next grade because they were just like, everybody's kind of effing up. But like, I did no work. I did no work whatsoever. And half the classes, I just kept failing tests. And I just kept failing tests. And of course, I just, nobody really asked me how I was doing because the expectation was that, oh, I'm smart or whatever. Like, I got it. Because all the years prior, they would check up on my grades and they would see the A's and everything like that. So it was just like, he's got it, whatever. But then 11th and 12th grade, because one, I had gotten into a relationship, and two, it was COVID and I was home like half the time. So it was just like, F it. Like, who cares? And I realized that school wasn't something that was going to bring me to the places that I wanted to be at, right? School has never brought a billionaire to his position unless maybe it was computer science and he started some sort of tech startup or whatever. But outside of that, most people, you don't need school. And so once I figured that out, I was just like, fuck it. Like, why am I even trying? Like, my time is better used, like, thinking, right? I thought thinking was better than, school, right? So that was interesting. But yeah, like, this video is really long. It's a 44-minute video. I want you guys to go check it out for yourselves or watch it a little bit more. But I do want to note that everything that he said so far to the beginning of his, I guess, downfall or his, loser life is super self-inflicted.
The first semester. Once I dropped out, my parents owned a bar in the town next to where we were from, and they allowed me to manage it during the day, so I was able to have income. I was able to move out of my house, and I just continued partying, not thinking about ever going back to school. And it got to the point where my mom, she didn't even feel like she could have conversations with me. She felt like I had lost my mind, intellectually and mentally. So she picked up everything and moved me to Michigan. Put me back in school at a community college. So at the age of 20, I left where I grew up to never return. And I did go to school. I got awesome grades. I earned my ability to go to a university after I got my general eds done. And that led me to then having a dream of going to a specific university. I did not get accepted. when I wasn't accepted, I fell back into the drinking hole that I fell into 4 years prior. Um, and I got a DUI. I was I was not okay at the time. I didn't know what I wanted, so I fell back into however I could ignore what I was dealing with, and it ruined my early 20s. I wasn't allowed to drink. I wasn't allowed to be around alcohol. I wasn't allowed to go to bars. I wasn't allowed to go to parties. I wasn't allowed really to do anything during my university years. And that led to a real reduction in motivation for finding a job once I graduated. Um, I know that my grades were horrible when I first went to school, but the second opportunity I did.
Okay. I really do appreciate this guy's like vulnerability and just like kind of, sharing his experience because it's so eye-opening being able to see how other people are, maneuvering through life and how just different circumstances lead to different outcomes. A couple things. One, notice how one early decision in your life can alter the entire thing. You get one DUI, you create one habit. So drinking, you could weed, other hard drugs, whatever it is. One decision, you only have to do it once. Whatever it is, can change the like entire rest of your life. The entire rest of your life. I know for me, I've been so strict against certain things, not because, I mean, one, I don't think it's fun, right? Because some of them I've tried and, I just never thought it was like appealing at all. But outside of that, I'm creating a habit of let me run up this bag when I'm young. And when I'm older, knowing the feeling of having money will now not be a negotiable. Like I can't imagine being 40, being broke and thinking back, damn, I had hella money when I was 20. I'm going to be addicted to it because I'm like, damn, remember when I was 20, I had the bag. If I'm 40 and I don't have the bag anymore, I feel like I haven't progressed in life, or I don't have like it feels like I'm giving up. I don't know how else to explain it. But it's like building the habit or building the addiction to running up this bag and being better and just conquering. I feel like that's gonna set the trajectory for the rest of my life. Another thing that I want to note is that I think too many people have a fixation and addiction on school. Like they think that that's the end all be all. That is like if you're not making a crazy bag from your degree, school is worthless. Honestly, like of course I'm biased because I'm a business owner and I'm independent. I'm selfish in that way. I want to just do me. I want my own time. I want my own control. I don't like to be told what to do. I like to just be by myself and run it up by myself. So I despise jobs and I despise school. Not to say that, some people, they need it. Some people think that it's going to benefit them. But if you're not running up a crazy bag with it, there's no point to it. You can make so much money on your own. You can make so much money on your own. This is coming from a 22-year-old. I'm not even like special yet. Like wait until I get special. Wait until I'm like 30. At 30, then you'll probably listen to me. But at 30, I'm going to be something really fucking special. Fuck 100 grand at 22. Watch it be 500 grand at 30. So it's just crazy to see other people's experiences and how like, you could just come from a different part of the country or the world and it could just change your whole thing. It could just change your whole thing. You know, there could just be little differences in your life that just make you different. Me and my brother grew up in the same household, same circumstances, parents divorced and all this and that. But we're so different, like absolute opposites. You know, my mom might say it's probably some fucking zodiac shit. I don't I don't know. But like for me, I think about it sometimes. I'm just like, yo, we are so like just completely night and day. Our priorities are so different, and who knows what it is. Maybe it's the fact that for the first, couple years of his life, I think 7 years of his life or some shit like that, pardon my tongue again, he had my parents around, like raising him together. For me, I don't have any memories of my parents being together. Right? So I think about that sometimes. I'm like, why are we so different? What is causing it to where he's how he is? He's, happy, jolly, forgiving to the world, and, just kind of wants to have a good time a little bit. He has goals and stuff, obviously, but he's more so focused on a good time. And me, sometimes I just feel like I'm extra hardcore, extra like fucking run up the bag, bitch. There's nothing else that matters in this world. Run up the bag. The bag will make you happy. And like being like aggressive. Like that's me, is being aggressive, running up the bag, feeling like I'm winning. I just love to win. But I also love to learn and understand things. And so I just look at us and I'm just like, wow, we're so different. And it's crazy to just see people online that just live completely different lives. Because you grew up in some small town in the middle of the country, you become an alcoholic. It's just, y'all don't have nothing else to do there other than drink. In New York, there's plenty of things to do here. So like, it's weird. Here they might smoke weed. In the middle of the country, they might be alcoholics. And that's a perfect example. I look at my family right now and I'm like, wow, all you are potheads, but it's the culture. And then people in the middle of the country, like, let's just say my lady's family, alcohol is like the shit. They're like, fuck yeah, fucking let's get drunk. When I was down in Alabama, because I used to live there for a couple months, that was the shit. Tailgates, you get a fucking dually truck or whatever it is, you get a nice big F-150, lift that bitch up, and you just go and drink. That's it. Drink and drive. Drink and drive. And there was this video that I actually saw today of this gentleman talking about buying a house, and I'll probably react to it too, buying a house in a good neighborhood and how that's a great investment, a great life investment, just because the opportunity to, just good neighbors, good school districts, clean neighborhoods, places that you could walk your dog, walk your kid, whatever. But one of the points that he said was that there's either none, or only one liquor store. And I instantly I was just like, the area that I live in right now, there's one liquor store per town. There's one a couple blocks, actually like a mile away from me. And then you got to go to the next town and there's one on one main road, and that's it. And when I say liquor, it's mostly wine. It's wine heavy. When I think about where I used to live, or the places that I used to live, liquor stores every couple blocks. You're gonna find a liquor store. You don't have to search for it. You just keep walking straight down a road and you'll come across one. Either a smoke shop or a liquor store. There's no smoke shops here. Not one. There's one. They just built one. They just built a smoke shop like 2 years ago. And that's it. So it's crazy to think how just your environment changes your whole trajectory. Nobody here is an alcoholic because there's only one liquor store and nobody goes there. And they're probably going to go out of business soon enough. There's only one smoke shop and they're guaranteed to go out of business because nobody's ever in there. I've never seen anybody in there. When I used to walk past, never saw nobody in there. And they're going to go out of business because it's not the culture. It's not the environment. So I'm going to leave that at that. But yeah, definitely go watch the rest of this guy's video because it does get good. He gets to talk about his career path, his career trajectory. He becomes like a loan officer, and then he does underwriting and this and that. And it's pretty cool just to, just hear his experience. But it's just so crazy that, the early years just set the tone for the rest of your life. And if you run with that tone, you're left a loser, like he said. I'm not saying that he's a loser, right? But just using his words, you're left a loser. You don't win in life, You're left feeling like you never actually got anything. All this work for what? You had 15 years. He's 36, 35. You had 15 years to try to figure something out. And at the end of it, you're left with nothing to show for it. And that's one of my biggest fears, is living this amount of time and having nothing to show for it at the end. If you don't have kids, you got no legacy. If you don't have money, you have no comfort or stability in your life. And if you don't have a partner, then you don't have companionship. And after that, what else is there to analyze? How fit you are, how swole you are, that ain't it. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Appreciate anybody that watched this. Peace.